There's a battle brewing in Oregon over land use. It's pitting Governor Tina Kotek, along with the semiconductor industry, against those who love and want to preserve the open spaces of Oregon. It's a fascinating conflict that will be resolved one way or the other in the next 3 months or so. And it's our big story tonight. You've probably heard about the CHIPS Act, which is designed to bring semiconductor manufacturing back to America. Intel, Oregon's largest private employer, has already secured up to $8.5 billion in grants from the CHIPS Act, plus another $11 billion in loans. And yes, the company is facing hard times and layoffs right now, but that's a story for another day. You might have missed another part of the CHIPS Act, though. I certainly did. It's setting aside $5 billion to set up 3 hubs across the country to help push semiconductor innovation. Here's the announcement back in July. Take a look at those 3 bullet points. It shows that the federal government wants to build an administrative and design facility for tech, along with an extreme ultraviolet center and a prototyping and advanced packaging center. Okay, so there are 3 different centers in 3 locations, and guess what? Oregon seems to really be in the catbird seat for that extreme ultraviolet center, or EUV. Let's go back to that announcement when it talks about EUV. It notes that group running will initially obtain access to EUV lithography through an agreement with an existing facility because those machines cost an amazing amount of money. Now, there are a few tech companies in America that have these lithography machines, but earlier this year, Intel took delivery of the most advanced lithography machine on the planet. Outside of the company that made it, Intel has the only one so far, and it costs something like $380 million. The machine uses amazing physics to create ultraviolet light that allows microscopic etching on silicon wafers. It will allow Intel to make computer chips more sophisticated than anyone else is making anywhere else. By the way, you can find my story about the in-depth tour of the new machine on our KGW YouTube page. Okay, so that's why this is all such a big deal. Oregon doesn't have a pretty good shot at landing this site. Oregon has a great shot at landing this site. And yes, those are my words, but I mean, you don't have to take mine for it, although you should. Here's Governor Tina Kotek this past April talking about it.
Other states are a little jealous of what we've created here and why we are poised to be the place where that center should be. We have all the ingredients to be successful. World-class talent, leading-edge semiconductor company, strong partnerships with our higher education institutions, and the foundational support. These elements will propel us into the future, and we are sending a clear message to our friends in Washington, D.C. that we want that center here in Oregon.
Okay, so the federal government is going to spend a bunch of money to build a place that will be run as a public-private partnership focused on research and innovation for semiconductors, and Oregon wants one. But then the question becomes, where should it be built? And that, my friend, that is where things get a bit sticky. Let's take you to a map our team made today showing kind of where the facility would be built. The city of Hillsboro is eyeing this property east of Jackson School Road and south of Highway 26. The total size that the city wants made available for developments is 1,700 acres. But Governor Kotek last week moved to designate 373 acres there for the Federal Research Center. Like I said, we made this map giving you an idea of the location. The exact lines not exactly set in stone. An important note that this area is outside the urban growth boundary, so that's a huge deal. Now you might just be saying, hold on here. Oregon has strict land use laws. You cannot build things like that outside of the urban growth boundary. It's in state law. And you would be correct. But you would also be forgetting about the law approved by Oregon's legislature last winter that gave the governor a temporary superpower when it comes to doing things just like this. Last year, Governor Tina Kotek signed Senate Bill 4 into law. It offered incentives to grow the semiconductor industry here in Oregon, but it also included a controversial change to land use law, the biggest change in over 50 years. Under Senate Bill 4, Kotek was granted the ability to issue an executive order and move a plot of land that's outside the urban growth boundary into the boundary. There are some restrictions. She'll only be able to do that with sites up to 8 sites, 2 that have to be any size larger than 500 acres and 6 that are up to 500 acres. Any site that she chooses has to be within 3 miles of the existing urban growth boundary. And the governor must also hold one public meeting near the site before bringing it into the urban growth boundary and take comments for 20 days. Now, that hearing is already set. It's going to be on October 10th at the Hillsboro Civic Center at 6 p.m. You can check out our story online at kgw.com for a virtual link or instructions on how you can sign up to testify. Now, that superpower also comes with a time limit. Governor Kotek will only have until the end of 2024 to change urban growth boundaries. So, you know, the clock's ticking. In the meantime, the Economic and Community Development Director for Hillsboro says that site is a perfect location.
The lands that are near Hillsboro are lands that we have been planning in partnership with many other peer utilities and government agencies, really going back to the mid-2000s. It was land that was explicitly identified in part of the Oregon legislature's Senate Bill 4 conversations and identified as eligible lands for the governor's use in this executive authority. It becomes important because it's immediately proximate to the existing industry concentration and based here in the Silicon Forest. It also is immediately adjacent to industrial scale and world-class infrastructure like for water and sewer and transportation.
He also points out that the land is not irrigated farmland. Dry land farming is done in that area, and that the owners who own that property, well, they're willing to sell. But of course, not everyone agrees that it's the perfect site. For example, the powerful conservation group 1,000 Friends of Oregon, they plan to fight this move.
Our main point is this is an exciting opportunity for Oregon, but we don't need to sacrifice some of the best farmland in the world in order to site this. We have industrial lands inside the cities, in the metro region, in the Willamette Valley, and throughout the state that are already zoned for industrial use in large parcels and that are ready to go for this type of facility.
By the way, Mary Kyle there points out that the governor has not made the final decision on this yet. That won't happen until after the public meeting. But if I was a betting man, I'd bet it's going to be approved. And then we will wait to see what the federal government decides for that possible extreme ultraviolet center coming to town. In the meantime, what do you think about this? Are you okay with this limited expansion of the growth boundary to attract new investment? Or should the governor consider some other location? We would love to hear from you. Send us an email, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com. Or you could call and leave a voicemail. The phone number is 503-226-5090. I look forward to hearing from you.